I think I'm still in a bit of shock and denial, frankly. And I was sitting in the makeup chair when I heard just somebody say, "Oh, Robert Redford died."
When Meryl Streep stood before a gathering of Hollywood's biggest stars to pay tribute to Robert Redford, her words didn't just honor a legend, they left millions around the world in tears. The Oscar-winning actress, who shared an unforgettable on-screen chemistry with Redford in Out of Africa, delivered what many are calling the most emotional tribute in Hollywood history. But what she revealed about their final conversation will shock you. This isn't just another celebrity funeral story. This is about how one tribute exposed the real Robert Redford that even his closest friends were still discovering. What did Meryl Streep say that had Jane Fonda, Ron Howard, and Ethan Hawke sobbing? And why are industry insiders calling her speech the most important Hollywood moment of 2025? The farewell of a legend. The world lost more than a movie star on September 16, 2025, when Robert Redford passed away peacefully at his beloved Sundance retreat in the mountains of Utah. The golden boy of American cinema, who captivated audiences in classics like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid and Barefoot in the Park, died at age 89, surrounded by those he loved most. But it wasn't until the private memorial service 3 days later that the true magnitude of Hollywood's loss became clear. As news of Redford's death spread, tributes poured in from every corner of the entertainment industry. Jane Fonda, his longtime friend and co-star, said in a statement, "It hit me hard this morning when I read that Bob was gone. I can't stop crying. He meant a lot to me and was a beautiful person in every way." Demi Moore, who worked with Redford later in his career, shared on Instagram, "A genius has passed. The world has lost an incredible actor and director whose legacy will live on forever." But among all the heartfelt tributes to Robert Redford, none carried the emotional weight of what was to come from his Out of Africa co-star Meryl Streep. The actress, who had shared one of cinema's most memorable romantic partnerships with Redford, was preparing to deliver a tribute that would redefine how the world remembered the legendary actor and environmental advocate. The memorial service, held at a private location near the Sundance Institute, was attended by Hollywood royalty including Jane Fonda, Ron Howard, Ethan Hawke, Marlee Matlin, and dozens of filmmakers whose careers had been launched through Redford's vision. What no one expected was how Meryl Streep's words would transform a somber farewell into something far more profound. Meryl Streep's emotional tribute. When Meryl Streep approached the podium, the assembled crowd of Hollywood legends fell silent. The woman who had shared some of cinema's most intimate moments opposite Redford was about to pay tribute to her lovely friend in a way that would leave not a single dry eye in the room. "One of the lions has passed," Streep began, her voice already trembling with emotion. "Rest in peace, my lovely friend." These simple words, delivered with the same authenticity that had made her one of the greatest actresses of all time, immediately set the tone for what would become an unforgettable tribute to Robert Redford. But it was what Streep revealed next that had the audience, including Jane Fonda and Ron Howard, visibly moved to tears. "Bob once told me that the real art isn't in the performance. It's in the courage to tell stories that matter, even when the system doesn't want them told. He lived that philosophy every single day." Streep's tribute to Redford wasn't just about his movies. It was about the man behind the movie star image. The emotional impact of Streep's words was immediately visible. Jane Fonda, seated in the front row, was seen wiping away tears as Streep continued. "Working opposite Redford taught me that true star power comes from lifting others up, not standing above them. Every day on the set of Out of Africa, Bob was mentoring someone, encouraging someone, or quietly solving someone's problem." Ethan Hawke, who had worked with both actors later in their careers, was captured on video mouthing, "Thank you, Robert Redford," as Streep spoke. Ron Howard, the director who had collaborated with Redford on multiple projects, nodded knowingly as Streep revealed story after story of Redford's behind-the-scenes generosity. "I remember asking Bob once why he spent so much time with the young filmmakers at Sundance," Streep continued, her voice growing stronger with each word. "His answer was simple: because someone did that for me once, and it changed everything." That was Robert Redford, always paying it forward, always believing in the next generation. The tribute reached its emotional peak when Streep shared their final conversation. "The last time we spoke, just 2 weeks ago, Bob told me he wasn't worried about his legacy because he could see it in every independent film that gets made, every environmental cause that gets supported, every young actor who chooses substance over celebrity. He said, 'Meryl, we don't own our stories. We're just temporary guardians of them.'" Hollywood remembers Robert Redford. As Meryl Streep's tribute concluded, The floodgates opened for an outpouring of emotion that revealed just how deeply Robert Redford had touched the lives of his fellow actors and filmmakers. Jane Fonda, taking the podium after Streep, could barely contain her tears as she remembered Robert Redford. "Bob represented an America we have to keep fighting for," Fonda said, her voice breaking. "He showed us that being a movie star meant using that platform for something bigger than yourself. When I starred alongside Redford in Barefoot in the Park, I thought I was just making a romantic comedy. But Bob taught me that every story we tell has the power to change someone's perspective." Ron Howard, the Academy Award-winning director, offered his own tribute to the late actor. Robert Redford was a tremendously influential cultural figure and artistic game-changer. He didn't just create the new and exciting Hollywood of the 70s through his creative choices made as an actor and director. He gave birth to an entirely new ecosystem for independent storytelling through the Sundance Film Institute. Marlee Matlin, whose career was touched by Redford's support of the Sundance Institute, shared a particularly moving tribute to Robert Redford. "Our film, Coda, came to the attention of everyone because of Sundance. Sundance happened because of Robert Redford. A genius has passed. R.I.P. Robert." Her words highlighted how Redford's legacy extended far beyond his own performances to encompass the careers he made possible. Ethan Hawke, representing a younger generation of actors influenced by Redford's work, said, "Robert Redford's death reminds us that we've lost not just a movie star, but a relentless advocate for authentic storytelling. His love of young filmmakers and his dedication to environmental causes showed us what it means to be an artist with a conscience." Demi Moore, sharing her memories of working with the legendary actor, posted on social media, "With love and admiration, thank you Robert Redford for your everlasting impact that will be felt for generations. You showed us that being opposite Paul Newman in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid was just the beginning of a career dedicated to elevating others." The Sundance legacy and environmental champion. What made Robert Redford's tribute service so powerful wasn't just the star power in attendance, but the recognition of how profoundly he had shaped American cinema beyond his own performances. The Sundance Film Institute, which Redford founded in 1980, became the launching pad for countless careers and revolutionary films. As Ron Howard noted in his tribute, Robert Redford didn't just change how movies were made, he changed who got to make them. The Sundance Institute provided a platform for voices that mainstream Hollywood had ignored. From Quentin Tarantino's early works to more recent Oscar winners like Coda, the festival became synonymous with discovering authentic, groundbreaking storytelling. Marlee Matlin's tribute perfectly captured this impact. Sundance happened because of Robert Redford, and because of Sundance, stories like ours found their audience. Her words highlighted how Redford's vision created a pipeline for diverse voices in cinema, making him not just a movie star but a true industry revolutionary. Beyond filmmaking, Robert Redford's environmental activism set him apart from his Hollywood peers. Long before environmental causes became fashionable among celebrities, Redford was using his platform and resources to protect the American wilderness. His Sundance retreat in the mountains of Utah wasn't just a personal sanctuary, it was a model for sustainable development and environmental stewardship. Former President Barack Obama, who awarded Redford the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2016, had called him one of the foremost conservationists of our generation. This recognition wasn't just ceremonial. It reflected decades of genuine commitment to environmental protection that influenced everything from his choice of film projects to his personal lifestyle. The tributes at the memorial service repeatedly returned to this theme of Redford as someone who understood that celebrity came with responsibility. Whether through the Sundance Institute's support of independent filmmakers or his environmental advocacy, Robert Redford consistently used his fame as a tool for positive change rather than personal aggrandizement. The personal stories that defined him. What made the tributes to Robert Redford so emotionally powerful were the personal stories that revealed the man behind the movie star image. These weren't just professional accolades, they were intimate memories of a Hollywood legend who consistently chose generosity over ego. Jane Fonda shared a particularly touching memory. "I remember being nervous about a challenging scene in one of our films together. Bob didn't just help me with my lines. He spent an hour talking me through the emotional core of the character. That wasn't in his job description as my co-star, but it was exactly who Bob was as a person." Ethan Hawke revealed another side of Redford's character. "When I was starting out, Bob heard I was struggling financially. Without any fanfare or publicity, he arranged for me to audition for a project that ended up changing my career trajectory. I didn't even know he was behind it until years later. That was Robert Redford, changing lives quietly, without expecting credit. These stories painted a picture of someone who understood that his success created opportunities to lift others up. In an industry often criticized for its ego-driven culture, Robert Redford stood as a rare example of humility and service to his craft and community. Meryl Streep's tribute captured this perfectly when she said, "Bob once told me that being remembered as a good actor would be nice, but being remembered as someone who helped other people tell their stories, that would be everything." This philosophy guided not just his work with the Sundance Institute, but his approach to every collaboration throughout his career. The memorial service revealed that Robert Redford's true legacy wasn't just in the films he made, but in the careers he made possible, the causes he championed, and the standard of integrity he maintained throughout his decades in Hollywood. The lasting impact on Hollywood. As the tributes concluded, it became clear that Robert Redford's death marked more than the end of a remarkable career. It represented the end of an era in American entertainment. The gathering of Hollywood legends at his memorial wasn't just saying goodbye to a friend and colleague. They were acknowledging the passing of someone who had fundamentally changed how the industry operated. Ron Howard's tribute perfectly captured this transformation. Robert Redford created new and exciting Hollywood opportunities in the 70s, but more importantly, he created a sustainable ecosystem for independent voices that continues to thrive today. The Sundance Film Institute, which began as Redford's personal mission to support emerging filmmakers, had become an institution that rivals the major studios in its cultural influence. The emotional responses from actors like Jane Fonda, Meryl Streep, and Ethan Hawke weren't just about losing a friend. They were about losing a moral compass in an industry often criticized for its lack of authentic values. Robert Redford had shown that it was possible to be commercially successful while maintaining artistic integrity, to be a global movie star while remaining grounded in authentic values. Marlee Matlin's words about how Robert's legacy will live on forever resonated throughout the service because everyone present understood that Redford's influence extended far beyond his own filmography. Every independent film that gets made, every environmental cause that gets celebrity support, every young filmmaker who gets discovered at Sundance. All of these represent living extensions of Robert Redford's vision. The tribute service also highlighted how Redford had bridged different generations of Hollywood talent. Sharing the stage were legends like Jane Fonda and Meryl Streep alongside younger stars like Ethan Hawke, all united in their respect for someone who had consistently used his platform to elevate others. As the memorial service for Robert Redford concluded, Meryl Streep's final words captured what everyone in attendance was feeling. "We're not just saying goodbye to a movie star. We're saying goodbye to a way of thinking about what it means to be successful in Hollywood." The tears that flowed throughout the service weren't just expressions of grief. They were recognition of a standard of excellence and integrity that Robert Redford had embodied throughout his career. From his breakthrough performance in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, alongside Paul Newman to his final years as an elder statesman of independent cinema, Redford had consistently chosen substance over celebrity. The tributes from Meryl Streep, Jane Fonda, Ron Howard, Ethan Hawke, Marlee Matlin, and Demi Moore revealed a man who understood that true stardom meant using your platform to serve something greater than yourself. Whether through the Sundance Institute's support of emerging filmmakers or his decades of environmental advocacy, Robert Redford had shown that celebrity could be a tool for positive change. Thank you, Robert Redford, for showing us that the most important stories are often the ones that take the most courage to tell. Your legacy will be felt for generations, not just in the films you made, but in the lives you touched and the voices you helped amplify. R.I.P. to a true Hollywood legend whose everlasting impact will continue to inspire long after the final credits roll. The world has lost an incredible actor, director, and human being, but as Meryl Streep so beautifully put it, one of the lions has passed, but his roar will echo through every story told with courage, every cause championed with conviction, and every dreamer given a chance to share their vision with the world.